Resume the recording. Okie doke. We are in business. So let's start at the top of the mat. I'm just going to face you, but you can face front. And let's have our feet a little bit wider than hips. And we're just going to hold opposite elbows and pull the elbows back. And as we do that, the tendency is to stick your butt out and overarch. But see if you can pull your elbows back while still dropping your tailbone down, just so you don't feel compromised in the back at all. Your back should still feel comfortable and long, and the muscles shouldn't be tense. So let's just tilt over to one side and push our hips opposite. And you could use your hands to kind of adjust your elbows to help them go not only down, but also back. Next, inhale, just come up all the way, and we'll switch sides. And continue to breathe when we're there, so we're not just holding the breath and waiting for me to say inhale up. We're here for a few breaths. Just normal breathing. And notice the tendency is to kind of fall forward. So keep that top elbow moving back. Keep your hips pushing opposite. Let's use an inhale to rise up. And just release the arms down by your sides. And we'll reach the right arm up. And we'll let the left hand slide down the straight leg. Same side bend, just different arm situation than what you had before. So now with that top arm, it's just a free agent. We're going to move it back a few inches. Reach as far as you can through the fingertips. Belly in so you can inhale your way up whenever you're ready to inhale. And we'll just switch sides. So that top arm should be so strong and straight that when we do finally come up, it actually feels like it just worked hard. It doesn't look like it's doing much, but it's reaching so much that you actually do feel engagement in that arm. Reach all the way through the fingertips, push your hips opposite the hand. And we'll inhale, belly in so that you keep your back safe, and release the arm. Let's bring the feet together. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Legs straight or bent. Inhale, halfway up. And step or jump back, chaturanga, exhale. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. We'll rock forward to plank for an inhale. Return to downward dog for the exhale. Inhale for plank. Keep the legs straight. Exhale for downward dog. Just one more time. From downward dog, we'll lift the heels up high. Inhale. Bend the knees. Exhale. Look forward and jump. Inhale whenever your feet get to the top of the mat. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale all the way up. Steeple mudra. So this time we will keep the feet together. We'll interlace the fingers, but let the pointer finger go up. And we'll try to bring the arms back a little bit. The tendency is either to have the arms really far forward or to reach back and stick the butt out. So, as best you can, keep your tailbone dropping, but get the arms to squeeze the side of your head. And we'll reach to the left, push the hips to the right. If this is too much, return to one of the versions we did before. We're just trying to get the side bodies to stretch. The inhale is going to bring us through center. We readjust whatever we need, and then we go over to the other side. And the clasp of the hands is going to help us get the arms straighter. And the straight arms is going to help us squeeze the head. So you know if your head is kind of a free agent, you know your arms are not quite engaged. Let's rise up on an inhale and just fold forward, exhale. Halfway up for an inhale. Step or jump chaturanga for an exhale. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Rock forward to plank, inhale. And either down dog A or down dog B, exhale. Straight arm plank, inhale. Exhale, down dog A or B. You're going to B, push your chest back enough to get your elbows to land at the same time. One more time, inhale to plank. Exhale, down dog, A or B. If you're in B, straighten your arms. So you're in a regular downward dog, straight arms, straight legs. So let's all lift the heels for an inhale. Bend the knees, look past your fingers so you can jump to your hands. Inhale to straighten the legs. Exhale to fold. Rise all the way up. Inhale. We'll keep the right arm up. We'll lower the left hand down. So again, it's the free agent version. We'll slide that left hand down the leg, reach with the right arm, and as you feel comfortable, perhaps get your left foot off the ground. And then your hand will just reach a little further down your leg, push the hips opposite the reach. And the inhale brings us through center, as tall as you can. Take your time switching sides, push your hips opposite your reach, and when you feel like it, that right leg can come up. So it's a fine line there with the balance, but it's also bringing your belly button in. It's going to help you stay up without falling out of the balance before your brain says to exit. So we'll use an inhale to come out of it. And let's just come to feet together, hands to prayer. Let's keep our prayer as we reach up for an inhale. Exhale, hands just to center chest again. Inhale, reach up. If your hands can't stay together, it's fine, just as best you can. Exhale, hands to the chest. Inhale, reach up. And swan dive forward, exhale. Inhale, chest up. Stepward jump, chaturanga, exhale. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Let's just press into the left heel a little more. Get the right knee to bend. And your left heel either is going to be all the way on the ground or just reaching that way. Then start to lift your right leg up and just let your hips stack. Let your toes reach up to the ceiling. But keep staring at your left leg and make sure that your heel is still hiding behind your toes. Reaching for the floor, and it's not swiveling to the right or left. It's just going straight back and down. Lower the right leg, normal downward dog. Bend the left knee. That's going to help you transfer the weight into that right foot. And when you feel like your right foot is established, just start to lift the left leg up. Notice if your toes are clenching on the floor, maybe you need to lift them so that they spread, and then you can gently place them down again. There's really no reason that our mind should wander from this pose because there is plenty happening. Let's lower that left leg. Both heels up high, inhale. Bend the knees, look past your fingers, exhale, and jump. Inhale whenever you're at the top of your mat. Exhale to fold. Bend into the knees. Utkatasana, inhale. We're going to twist to the left, and no, I lied, twist to the right. Hook your left arm. That's what I meant to say. So let's just notice how our thumbs are by our shoulder. For an inhale, we're going to lift our chest up to let the thumb come to center chest. And exhale, relax a little bit. Your thumb will slide to your shoulder again. Inhale, twist more. Exhale, relax a little. Just one more time. Just find what your range might be. And we'll fold and straighten the legs. Inhale, halfway up. Stepward jump, chaturanga, exhale. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Right leg up high. Inhale. Step to the hands. Exhale. Warrior one. Reach up. Inhale. Let's interlace the fingers behind the back. Exhale. Straighten the arms and lift the chest. Inhale. And let's just fold forward. Exhale. Either shoulder to thigh or shoulder inside of knee. You can drop your head. Either palms stay together or Wrists bend and palms separate, but the fingers stay interlaced. So wherever you are, draw your belly in. Take one more breath, back leg straighter, knuckles a little further away. And we'll release the grip, place the hands, and vinyasa. From your downward dog, whenever you're there, lift your heels high for an inhale. Bend the knees, look past your hands, exhale. When you're empty of breath, jump. When you're there, inhale, fill up again. Exhale, fold. Bend into the knees, Utkatasana. I'm just going to change my side. And we'll twist the other way, exhale. So that's our right arm on our left thigh. So inhale, twist more, thumb to center chest. And exhale, relax a little bit. So just feel what your range might be, because later we'll stay in the maximum of the range. Sometimes it's a little too hard to stay there for the full time. Okay. Slowly untwist, straighten the legs. Inhale, halfway up. Stepward jump, chaturanga. Exhale. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing. Left leg high, inhale. Step forward, exhale. Warrior one. Inhale. Interlace behind the back. Exhale. Might take a little bit of wiggling. When you can, inhale again. And then fold. So if you had extra hands, you would have two hands poking into your belly, just to the sides of your belly button, to help you get the belly button to draw in, the back to stretch. You'll end up a little deeper in the fold. Keep reaching the knuckles away. Okay, slowly release, hands down, vinyasa. We'll meet in downward dog. Let's take a few breaths there. I'm going to move my computer so that I can see you guys better. Okay, right leg up high, inhale. Step to the hands, exhale. High lunge, inhale. Into warrior two, exhale. Straighten the front leg, inhale. Bend it again, exhale. Straighten, inhale. And bend, exhale. Let's reach for opposite elbows behind the back. So we have the hips and the collarbones facing the long edge of the mat. Also now the forearms. So see if you can push your back into your forearms and drop your tailbone down. Because sometimes in warrior two, this happens. If we can push the mid-back into the forearm, you end up a little bit more neutral. Should feel decent. Okay, let that go. Straighten the right leg. Triangle pose, reach out and down. Left arm up. Just 3 breaths. We'll do this again in a little while. That's 2. And that's 3. Inhale your way up. Exhale to bend the knee, lower the hands, 3-legged downward dog. So that front leg is just going to lift up. And that's our inhale. On your exhale, tap your right knee to your right elbow. Inhale the leg up to the ceiling again. Exhale to tap. One more time. If this is not to your liking, just stay in down dog because we'll be meeting up in that pose anyway. After this last time with your toes at the ceiling, we'll just lower the right foot, downward dog, shake out your head and neck. Let's lift the left leg up high, inhale. Step to the hands, exhale. High lunge, inhale. To warrior two, exhale. Straighten the left leg, inhale. Bend it again, exhale. One more time, I need to sort out my pants so you can keep your arms as they are. And exhale. Okay, so here we are in warrior two. We'll just bring the arms behind us, hold opposite elbow, shoulders roll back as best you can, and press your waistline back. You'll feel it coming from the front. So ideally you're doing that in all of your warrior twos and in your Parshvakanasanas even. You just don't have a forearm there to give you the feedback. Okay, straighten that left leg, release the arms, adjust your feet as needed for a triangle. Just 3 breaths. 1, 2, and 3. We'll rise up for an inhale. Rebend the left leg, exhale. Take that left leg up to the ceiling. 3-legged dog, inhale. And touch the knee to the left elbow, exhale. Leg up high, inhale. Knee to the elbow, exhale. Leg up high, inhale. Knee to the elbow, exhale. This is the last one. Leg up high, inhale, and just normal downward dog, exhale. Shake out the head and neck. Wipe some sweat, perhaps. On Friday, I had to get out my whole sweat rug because it's like 100 degrees in the house. Okay, let's lift the right leg up high, inhale. Step to the hands, exhale. High lunge, inhale. And we'll take that same opposite elbow grip overhead that we had earlier and pull back. Just take one more breath there. Move the ears back a little bit so your throat opens more. And we'll keep the arms like this. Just turn it into warrior two. And pretend that you have extra hands and that 2 are up here where they are and 2 are down here where they were before. And you're pushing your waistline back. Feel free to stay here, or you're going to just bend your right elbow more so your right fingers go by your shoulder blades. Your left arm will come around for Gomukhasana hands. We'll take 3 more breaths. Keep pressing your waistline back regardless of what hands you've chosen. We're going to keep whatever arms you have as we turn it into a high lunge. So our back heel is going to swivel off the ground and we'll square our hips to the front edge of the mat. Gently lower the left knee so you wind up in Anjaneyasana. And then slowly release the arms and just place them on your right thigh. Okay, I'm going to face you for a sec. You're fine where you are. Take the arms out to the side like cactus. And we're just going to rotate the fingers down so the shoulders roll forward. And then we'll bring them up again, maybe even back a little so it's like we're serving platters. And just do it in your range of motion, just shoulders rolling forward and back. If you hear it clicking, make your range a little smaller. So this is what's going to get us into a reverse prayer. If reverse prayer is not for you, do that opposite elbow thing behind the back. So we're going to reach our hands back and get either knuckles to touch and then flip the hand around. That's my favorite way. Some people go fingertips by your butt and then slide it up. So either way to get into reverse prayer, or take your opposite elbow. When you're set, start to lift your left knee. So you wind up in your high lunge. And just start to lean your shoulders back a little bit. And you'll feel the support from your hands or your forearms. You can drape yourself over your hands or your forearms. Okay, slowly release. We'll place the hands in just vinyasa. Take your time, we'll meet in downward dog. And you'll have time to resort your breath. Resort your abundance. Okay, left leg up high, inhale. Step to the hands, exhale. High lunge, inhale. Into warrior two, exhale. And we'll take our opposite elbow grip and we'll start to pull back. So tuck the lowest ribs in. I was talking about it earlier as tucking the tailbone down, and it's true, that is happening. But also if you think of the front body, when you tuck your tailbone, you're bringing your pubic bone and your front ribs closer to your hips. Your hips and your ribs together. Cinching the front body. So, bend that left elbow a little more. Take it into your Gomukhasana, hand position. Press the head back. One more breath. We'll keep our hand position, whether it's Gomukhasana or opposite elbow. We're just going to swivel that back heel up so it's your high lunge. And we'll gently lower the knee down so it's your Anjaneyasana. Release your grip, whatever it is. Hands to the knee. Hang out for a sec. And then cactus arms. So just rotating at your pace, whatever that is. We're just trying to increase the range of motion so that when you get into that reverse prayer, it doesn't feel impinged. Okay, so start to think about how you want to get into it. Take your arms behind you. The shoulders are going to roll forward. Once you get your hands where you want, roll your shoulders back again, push your elbows back, and lift your right knee. Start to curl back. If you're in reverse prayer, it's like your fingertips are pushing up into the back of your heart. You're draping yourself over that. Your opposite elbow grip is going to be a little lower, but same idea of draping yourself. Okay, slowly get out of there. Vinyasa. We'll meet in down dog. Okay, right leg up to the ceiling, inhale. Knee to the left elbow, exhale. Leg up high again, inhale. Knee to the left elbow a little bit higher than where you touched a moment ago. One more time, inhale up. Exhale, that twisted plank. Inhale, leg up. And then just step forward to the hands. Triangle pose from the bottom up. So we're already down low. Let's just lower the back heel and straighten the front leg. Jump that right hand onto the foot or ankle, big toe, whatever you want, and start to slide that right hip under. That top arm we're going to roll forward so that our palm faces back. And we can start to bend the elbow behind the back. Either get your knuckles toward your sacrum or your hip, or get your fingers to your inner thigh. And you have a forearm behind you again to remind you to push your waistline back. So this is not a back bend style pose. Let's lengthen side bodies instead. And let's slowly exit, lower the hands, three-legged dog, right leg up. Let's bring the right knee to the right elbow. And this time we're just going to let it slide down toward the wrist. Then we'll hoist it up toward the shoulder. 2 more times. Whatever your range is, you'll find that that hoisting is quite difficult. After the third one, just step to downward dog. Every time we're in dog, I'm wiping sweat off my face. Okay, so we have another side. Left leg up high, inhale. Knee to the right elbow, exhale. Inhale, leg up high. And twisted plank, exhale. One more time. I'm noticing I have a lot more trouble on this side. I think it's a tightness issue, not a strength issue. After this third one, left foot will step to the hands. We'll just lower the back heel, start to straighten the left leg, jump the left hand to somewhere that suits you, and scoop the left hip under. Trikonasana. So if you don't want to do that right arm thing, it's fine. Just pretend there's a forearm back there. Otherwise, right shoulder's going to roll forward and you'll reach. It might take a little bit of rolling the shoulder back because the flesh of your arm could get stuck on your torso and it makes it a little bit difficult. So sort out all the fleshy bits so that you're in the version of the pose you want. Your belly button draws toward your spine and your spine draws toward your forearm. And the armpits draw away from the hips. Okay, so we'll just slowly get out of there, unravel yourself. Three-legged downward dog, so that left leg is going to lift up again. And this is going to be the really fun one. Left knee to the elbow. Gravity will help us take the knee to the wrist. And then we hoist it up toward the shoulder. Total of 3. Notice how strong your right leg has to be to make this happen. And we'll just step to downward dog. And I'm actually going to get my sweat rug again because it's out of control over here at my house. All right. Okay, let's lift the right leg up high. Inhale. And we'll step to the hands, exhale. Let's keep our hands where they are and just lower the back heel. And let's adjust the right foot so we have a heel to arch alignment. So if we had a Sharpie going from the front foot to the back foot, it would be heel to arch. So our legs are set up for Parsvakonasana. What we need to change is now scoop this right hip under. So our right hand will either be flat or on fingertips or on a block. The left arm will just travel with our left shoulder so that we can scoop that right hip under and open to the long edge of the mat. If you're comfy there, extend your left arm over the ear and go a little more side body stretch. And let's slowly release. We're going to step our back foot forward and then our right foot back. And then adjust your feet to that warrior 2 heel to arch alignment. We're just going to go for the other side. So from the bottom up, it's a different feeling. You're used to entering this probably from a warrior 2 where then you descend. So think more about your left hip scooping under you and how that will turn your ribs open. Your right arm can either reach up or over. But just keep thinking of your left hip and everything else will fall into place. And Anouk, you've got a left hip issue, you might want to be up here on your elbow. Then you have a little more wiggle room in that left hip. Okay, we'll untwist. Back foot forward, inhale, and left foot back again. Same alignment, lower that back heel. This time we're going to put both hands on the big toe side of the foot. And then we'll try the same thing. So instead of sticking our butt out, we're going to try to scoop that right hip under. And again, let the left arm come up. Then we'll bring the left arm behind your back, just like you did in your triangle. If you want, you'll also bring your right arm under and you'll hold hands near your right hip. So whether or not your forearm is touching your waist, you're going to think about pushing your waistline back. And we'll look up to the ceiling over our face, like our chin is trying to touch our shoulder. And then let's slowly get out of it so we can change sides, back foot forward, right foot back. So some of you coming into it this way is going to be great. Some of you it won't. Either way, it's a good experience to have. So heel to arch alignment, hands big toe side of the foot. Start to scoop your left hip under. Your chest will start to rise up, spinning toward the ceiling. And if you want, right arm comes behind you. Knuckles will be near your left hip. And if you want, left arm will come under. Your left hand will hold your right wrist. So the left knuckles are right against the hip, and that palm is facing out, so that your top hand just plunks right into it. Just think about that left hip scooping under, everything else will work out. Okay, we'll slowly get out of there. Step back and vinyasa. I think it was last week we did our favorite shoulder stretch. We'll do that again. Inhale to plank, exhale, come on down. I'll face you. So we'll sphinx the arms, and then we'll slide the right arm under the left, and the left over to the right. So we're trying to get roughly a straight line with the arms, and we'll drop the head down. Some of you, the forehead might touch the ground. While we're here, we're going to think of waistline up toward the ceiling. You'll notice as soon as you do that, belly button lifts off the mat. Pubic bone presses down a little more. Tailbone moves toward your feet. Okay, slowly unravel, and we'll try the other side. I'm going to need a mop because I'm dripping on the ground. Okay. So just notice how the shoulders are different. Notice if that makes your breathing crazy, or maybe this is your easy side. Notice if the shoulders are distracting you from the orientation of the pelvis. Try your best to keep your belly button drawing up off the mat. Okay, slowly unravel. We're going to meet in down dog beat. So you can just sphinx your arms again. Start to hoist your hips up through that forearm plank, and then just walk it in. Okay, straighten the arms, normal downward dog. Let's lift heels up high, inhale. Bend the knees, look past your fingers so you can jump comfortably forward. Inhale when you're there. Exhale to fold. Bend into the knees, Utkatasana. Into a twisted with the left arm outside of your right thigh. So earlier we sort of went in and out of a deep range of motion. Now we're going to try to maintain our thumb right at the center chest, literally touching. So bend your elbows enough to bring your thumb to touch you. And if your thumb is up here by your shoulder, just means you have to push harder with your right hand into your left hand and start to maybe look up more, let your torso come a little bit more up and over your thighs. Okay, slowly untwist. Shake out the head, and halfway up for an inhale. Send the left foot back about 3 feet for twisted triangle. Heel to heel alignment, left hand flat somewhere, right hand up. So right hand up is the traditional way. I often, especially when I'm home alone, will reach around for my left hip bone and pull up. Otherwise, it's the same. I'm still looking up, and I'm still trying to press into the pointer finger of the left hand. It's just to help to keep the hips square. And let's slowly untwist. We'll bring our back foot forward, inhale. And we'll fold, exhale. Utkatasana. Knees bend, reach up. And we'll twist to the left. Hook the right arm. So take your time getting this hook. If you have a lot of space here between your armpit and your leg, it's going to be very hard to get your chest and thumb together. So you might need to lift your left heel off the ground to help you get a little further over. That's just one trick. You might need to roll the flesh of your left thigh in. So your top hand is pushing down into your bottom hand. Your bottom arm is pushing into your leg. Your leg is also pushing into your arm, and your knees are pushing together. So there's a lot of little points of tension to keep you balanced. Let's slowly untwist, dangle for a moment. And when you're ready, step your right foot back, set up for twisted triangle. You can have that block on either side of your foot or your hand. Left arm up, inhale. Or left arm somewhere. Okay, slowly get out of there. Back foot forward, inhale. Fold, exhale. Bend into the knees, inhale. And let's take a Bakasana to Vinyasa. So the hands will come down about 12 inches in front of your toes. Lift your heels, place your knees on your armpits. Start to rock forward till your feet can lift. And then jump it back. Exhale. And we'll meet in downward dog. Okay, walk the hands back to the feet. We're going to slip them underneath the feet, Parahastasana. So the palms are up, the toes are by the wrists. You might need to bend the knees to get that grip. And drop the head, draw your belly in, and as you feel comfortable, your legs will get more and more straight. But whether or not your legs are straight, try to create a bit of space between your torso and your legs, or between your belly and your legs, I should say, because your chest could be flush against your thighs. So draw your belly in. Okay, release the grip, walk into your downward dog again. Keep the heels down for as long as possible. And let's lift the right leg up high, inhale. And step it to the hands, exhale. Lower the left knee, so it's a Anjaneyasana with the hips dropping. And we're going to keep the hips dropping. We're just going to creep our right foot further forward to a point where it's hard to keep the sole of the foot flat, but still doable. If I just kept going forever, the sole of the foot would face front and it would be Hanumanasana. So this is not that. This is just a really long Anjaney. I like to tuck the back toes under, so it's more like a lunge. It's a little easier to control your hips then. Have as little bit of weight in the fingers as possible. Takes a lot to lift your hands up to your hips, but feel free to do that. Okay, so let's start to creep ourselves into the Anjaney shape again. And a half split shape, so that right leg will straighten. Maybe come to your forearms. Okay, rebend your front leg, step your back foot forward, but leave some space there between your right and left feet. So it's just a loose stepping forward. We're going to reach our left hand to the pinky toe edge of the right foot. Right hand to the hip. We'll keep our knees bent as we come up. And then when we feel like our shoulders are in a good spot, we'll extend the legs. Your right hand can either stay on your hip or reach back, maybe even look back. So you're going to push your right foot away from you. Even if the leg is not fully straight, the process of pushing is going to help you to stay balanced with that little tension concept. Okay, untwist. Face front, bend the knees, and just release your foot down, Utkatasana. Into Bakasana tripod. So hands down, back up a little bit so you have a spot for your head. Hands are about 12 inches in front of your toes, and your head is going to go about another 8 inches in front of that. So we'll point the toes till they come off the ground. We'll bend the elbows and lower the crown of the head, and eventually start lifting the legs. Once you're comfortable in your headstand, you'll decide at what point do you want to enter your chaturanga, and then you'll use an exhale to come down. Just keep the vinyasa going. We eventually wind up in downward dog. Okay, left foot forward. Right knee down, Anjaneyasana. Start to creep it forward, or if you're having space issues, just creep your right knee back, doesn't matter. So you should feel something pretty nuts in that right hip flexor. Notice how hard it is to keep the ball of your left foot down. If you can't do it, it means you've gone a little too far. If you lifted your hands on the other side, maybe try it on this side. Good. And we'll start to work our way toward Anjaney again. This is just so you can measure your calf split nicely. We'll straighten that left leg belly in so that as you fold, your chest and head might come to your leg, but it feels like there's a smidge of a gap between belly and thigh. I have cotton pants on, so I'm wiping the sweat on my shin. Okay, so we'll bend into that knee again. We'll step our back foot forward. Reach the right hand for the pinky toe side of the left foot. Left hand to the hip, and come on up. When you can, extend the leg. When you can, reach back and push. The more you push, the easier this will be. Good. Kate, you could probably get your leg a little higher, then your shoulder will be able to roll back more. And Lisa, you could get your bottom leg straighter. Good. Okay, let's slowly get out of there. Bend the knees, release your foot down. And we'll take a vinyasa again. One more option to add to your repertoire is to headstand and then back again to Bakasana. So you go through your process. If you're going to Bakasana, you decide, do you want chaturanga from there or do you want headstand? If you went to headstand, do you want chaturanga from there or do you want to return to Bakasana again? The process of returning is pretty fun, but also very hard. You have to round your back a lot, get your knees high enough up on your arms so that you can start to look forward, straighten your arms, and squeeze your legs into your arms so you don't fall off of them. All roads lead to downward dog. Okay, let's jump through and have a seat on our butt. Yay! Okay, right ankle to lower left thigh. I see hair in the periphery of my vision and I don't know where it's coming from. Somewhere in my frizz. Okay, so right ankle, left lower thigh, then we're going to slide that left foot close to the butt and try leaning forward. Use your hands as much as you need to give you that nudge forward. At some point, maybe you can wrap your arms around your leg and still sit up and still try to bring your chest close to your shin. We're going to turn this into double pigeon. So the left foot will move over to the right, shins line up, and we'll add a twist. Feel free to put a block under your knee, because if this knee is floating in space, it's not always that comfortable. I've had some tight hips lately, so there have been some days that I'll put either a block, or if I'm too lazy to get a block, I'll just put my arm there. So if your arm is available, bring it over to your foot. So we're twisting to the left. If you can go further than your elbow, go as high up as you can, maybe all the way to the shoulder. And your top hand is going to push so much that, again, your thumb will come center chest. Literally touching. Okay, slowly unravel. We're going to straighten the right leg and bend the left. So now the left knee is pointing up. And we'll go for Marichyasana C. So it's the twist in the same direction as what you just did. You're going to try to hook high up on your arm, like what you just did. You can leave your left fingers behind you, helping you to sit up straight. If you've gotten really far in the twist, or maybe you need to go further, maybe you need your butt up for a moment, lean forward more. That's one trick to get your arm further hooked. You could bring your thumb around your shin bone. Your palm is going to face the right as your thumb leads the hand around. You wind up with your knuckles by your right hip. You might need your left fingers on the floor for a decade. Eventually, you can lift it. Okay, let's slowly get out of there. Vinyasa. Or just stay put because we're going to end up there again. Okay, so earlier when we were jumping forward, we looked past our fingers in order to jump our feet to our hands. So same thing here, but you're going to jump your butt to your hands. So you have to keep your knees up. So when you're ready, heels up, inhale. Bend the knees, exhale, look past your fingers. And as you jump, keep your knees lifted toward your shoulders so that you can land comfortably. Okay, left ankle to lower right thigh. Lean back so you can move your right foot close to your butt. And then use your hands behind you to prop yourself up, walk it in. It's a big deal for your left hip. We're also gradually learning how to use that core to stay upright. So those of you who are feeling flexible enough, if you start to reach around, now you need to use your belly more, drawing in and up so that you don't slouch too much and so you don't fall back. That's the same kind of strength you need if you're going for Ekapada Shirsasana. If you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. Okay, so we're going to turn this into double pigeon. So the left leg will be on top. I'm just facing you, but you could be facing the same direction you were. Flex your feet like mad. Make sure the balls of your feet are pushing opposite directions. You could put your hands under there if they need the reminder. If your hands are free, twist. Go as far over as you can. And it's probably true that if you go as far as you can and then you take a breath there, you actually can go a little bit further. You just have to relax a little bit. Your top hand is working quite hard, pushing down. If you look up over your right shoulder, you might get a few more inches of twist. Okay, and we'll slowly unwind. So the reason we did that before Marichyasana C is because the twist is the hardest part of Mari C. If you can twist far enough, getting your arm into the bind will come. So right knee up, left leg out straight, twist to the right. Hook your arm if you can. So it's very common that we have our arm hooked, but there's a big gap here. That's where the extra twist comes in. So you might need to look back, you might need to use your right hand to move some flesh out of the way. What I see a lot of people doing is lifting the butt for a second, getting a deeper twist, and then coming down. So any way that works for you, then your thumb guides your hand around, your elbow bends in front of your shin bone, already a big deal. So you decide, can your hand lift or not? If your hand is lifted, you'll feel how important the tension is between your arm and leg. Okay, let's slowly get out of there. Vinyasa. So we're gonna actually have a look-see for a sec. We're just gonna do a Baddha Hasta with a tapping of a leg. I'm gonna face the diagonal for your viewing pleasure. So Baddha Hasta A is the one where our hands are interlaced, and we'll go up. And then I'm just gonna bring one leg down into my view. The other leg is just going to stay up there somewhere helping me balance. And then once it's kind of, I have control over whether it touches the floor or not, I'm just going to swing it a little bit to the side and then try to touch down over there somewhere. But it's never weight bearing. And then I'll bring it to center again, lift it up, and attempt the other side. So I'm not coming down to a point where I can't control it. If you end up with this foot collapse into the floor, you just came a little too low. And then we'll try a little twist, and again, it's a little whoop, whoop, and then an untwist and come on up. So I'll watch you guys do that. Just try it one side at a time. If you need a rest between sides, by all means, take it. The name of the game is really knowing where are your legs. So if you have your leg too low, and you collapse out of your headstand, it just meant you weren't really communicating with the top leg enough. And you decide how much twist you can add to it. But when you twist, again, don't let the foot get heavy. Monique, on side 2, you could probably twist a little bit more. Yeah, it's super fun, right? Carol, what happens if you go a little lower? Let's see. Oh, that's what happens. Okay. All right, so Carol was at the edge. Good. All right, so we'll meet in a down dog again. You can vinyasa or not. Looks like everyone did both sides, but if you didn't, then just catch up with us in a bit. We'll just jump through and have a seat. But again, remember keeping your knees high when you jump through, so that you can land your butt and your legs at the same time-ish. Okay, Parigasana. So we're going to keep our left leg straight on the mat, and your right leg will either come out here in a 90-degree situation, or will bend back behind you. In this version of Parigasana, for right now, we're going to keep the right arm straight. So we're just going to reach up and twist to face the right leg. It's kind of hard to say here. It's a lot of core to, because if we weren't using our core, we'd be facing this diagonal. But don't face the diagonal, face the long edge of your mat. You're just making life a little bit difficult for yourself so that later it could be a little bit easier. So we'll keep the reach with this top arm. We're going to keep the top arm straight. We're just going to start to hinge over to the side stretch. The left elbow can support you or whatever. If you're up here, then just use your hand. Just think each inhale, you're reaching out with the right hand. Each exhale, you're twisting a little bit more toward the long edge of your mat. Some people, chest will face the ceiling. I will not be showing you that anytime soon. You can look on YouTube to see that. So feel free to stay here or start to extend your arm over your ear and go for your foot. Just taking it a little bit further. We just want to feel something stretched through the right waist. Whatever you need to do to make that happen. Okay, we'll slowly get out of there. We'll rise up. And we're going to bring that right leg around. And let's switch. Right leg out, left leg in. We're going to go for Marjasana D, but a variation on it. Those of you that are cool with half lotus, it's no problem. You're going to half lotus your right leg. Otherwise, you're going to tuck your right heel close to your pelvis and just have your left foot in front of the right foot. So it's just a bent leg tucked in. Otherwise, it's going to be the same twist that you did before. Hug your left knee to your right shoulder. If you can, hook. If you can, bind. So having your right leg bent will change things, but it will not make it easier. So if you need to re-straighten your right leg, feel free to do that. Take your time starting at the very beginning of the pose, which is the twist. Maybe you get the twist real nice, and you take an extra few minutes to walk your knuckles from your left foot through your thigh, eventually to get the grip. Okay, let's get out of there. Vinyasa. We'll jump through for Parigasana side 2. So those of you who do want to learn jump throughs, unfortunately, the only way is to do them like a million times. So every chance you get, just practice it. That's why primary series is very strengthening. So left leg either straight or folded back. Twist toward the long edge of your mat, left arm up, and just stay here for a few breaths and just notice how much you have to suck up and actively twist. It will not happen on its own. If we are left to our own devices, we never get off the couch. So at least we made it to the mat today. But now if we're left to our own devices, we're at that 45 degree. We need to twist more than that. So as you're ready, start to come over. We'll take a few breaths here with that left arm still straight. We're trying to move left shoulder back, right shoulder forward. It does help if you push your right calf muscle into the floor. If I don't, I wind up kind of falling backward a little bit and lifting this left hip too much. So press this calf muscle down. And if you want, come further into your Parigasana. Whatever you need to do to get a side stretch for the left side. And if you had an extra forearm here, it would go behind your back, just like it did earlier in our warrior twos. Because we're not trying to arch a lot here. We're trying to press our waist back. Every bit of the torso can travel kind of as a unit twisting open. No vertebrae left behind. Okay, we'll slowly come on up. And we'll find our Marichyasa D, but with the modification. So it will be the left leg either folding into half lotus so that you can fold the right leg up with this foot caught, or you'll just tuck that foot behind the right foot. And then we hug. So you'll notice that your right hand behind you is helping you sit up. To get a deeper twist, bend your right elbow and allow your torso to scoop around your thigh. And those of you working for the bind, you might notice that your knuckles get stuck on your right foot. Try leaning a little more to the right, rolling your left shoulder a little more forward so that you can walk your knuckles more toward your hip. It will happen, it just takes a while. Two more breaths. Okay, and we'll slowly get out of there. Vinyasa. Okay, so let's squat at the top of the mat-ish. Doesn't matter because you're going to watch for a second. But squatting is going to help with the hips, but also with the back, stretching your back. If you have any hip or knee issues, just do a wide foot version with your toes turned down, or be up here. This is good too. All right, so I'm just going to show you what's happening next. I'm going to step off my mat to the side. That is purely so my hands can go on the mat. Because we're going to end up in down dog, so I want my hands placed for that. So I'm going to find a prayer twist in Utkatasana. No big deal. Then I'm going to put my hands on the mat and find Parshvabhakasana. From here, we're just going to try to jump back and be on the mat in Chaturanga. Inhale and exhale. So that is all. We'll add on to that shortly. But let's try that. So from your squat, just move yourself over to the side. For right now, it doesn't matter which side you do first because we're going to do both. So find your twisted chair, feet together, knees together, hands to prayer. When you feel ready, lower your hands. They're going to face the same way as your toes, just like down dog, and you'll just start to lean and lift your feet. This is not really a problem. Exiting to Chaturanga might be. It's a really quick corkscrew. And then you can just continue the vinyasa. And I'll watch your side too. So when you're ready, just come toward the top of your mat. Step off to the side. But when you place your hands, you know where they go in down dog. So make sure they're on the correct plane. No funny business with your hands. And Anouk, are you going to be able to jump back? It looks like maybe the mat you're too far to the back. So I don't want you to kick that file cabinet. John, your bottom elbow needs to bend more. Yes. Very good. Okay. So, now that we've done that, we're going to try either that again or into headstand and then back. So exiting from headstand to chaturanga, we already did, and it's much easier than what you just did. However, so here we are on the side of the mat. This part, no problem. Lowering the hands, everyone was cool with that. Here's where it gets tricky. So we're gonna shift our hips, lift the feet. This is really hard. Lowering the head, you have to push like crazy into your hands to get your legs up. I feel my abs working a lot. And then once you're in headstand, then you're in familiar territory and the vinyasa is not a big deal. But you're gonna notice it's really hard to get your legs off of your arm. So let's try. Come off to the side of your mat. You'll have a chance to do both sides, so either one. Find your twisted chair first. And you might want to stay there. You do not have to do these shenanigans. When you want, you put the hands on the mat like down dog. When you want, arm balance. And getting the head to the floor, that's not such a big deal either. But to get your hips up, it's all core. And you go real slow. I like to keep the edges of my feet pushing together to help get the legs up. So try both sides at your timing. I'm going to watch side 2. And if you weren't going for the full shenanigans, still walk over to the other side of your mat so that you could twist your prayer in your Utkatasana on the other side. Ooh, Carol, that looked easy. Now let's see the headstand one. Her corkscrew out was no big deal. So we're going for the next version. Monique, how's it going? ¿Por qué no? Okay. So, does anyone have a question that they would like to unmute themselves and ask? Because I'm seeing some hilarity going on.
How do you possibly lift? Like, so you said you press your feet together, you're trying to get your hips high.
The pressing the feet together, it's just like the inner edge, just like a Bakasana. And that's just so my mind stays in it. The real strength is that low belly, and you might actually grunt while you do it. So I'll show you one more time so you can see how much the butt has to lift up, because you're coming from like a little rounded place and you need to wind up in a very extended place. So it's kind of the same as like when you're in a Galavasana, how much your butt has to be up. So maybe watching will help you see how much that happens. So here you are, no problem. Here you are, you're reaching out and you're transferring your weight. And now look where my hips are. They're gonna have to move. So head comes down, and now I'm gonna lean forward so that my weight comes more toward my head, and then the butt can lift. And once the butt can lift, the legs lifting is actually not so bad. It's more aligned. So give it a try.
You make it look easy.
Oh, it's so not easy. The first time Bonnie Jones made me do it, I was a heap on the ground. So give it another try. Worst case scenario is you fall out of it. You're very close to the floor, so falling is not really so painful. And if this is not your shtick for any reason, a good prep is those double pigeons that we did with the prayer twist. That's a good alternative to this nonsense. So Lisa, you're in the point where it's all willpower from here. So you were pretty much there. You just have to get real stubborn about it. Your butt was in a good spot. I can only see Monique's legs, but I saw her knees and toes lift up. So I can only assume that she made it up. Sort of. Okay, Lisa, lean more toward your head. Keep pushing into your hands. 2 more inches butt up. Yes, okay. So yeah, we really like gravity a lot. That's the message from this. So if you're doing something that's asymmetrical, balance yourself out. And we're going to meet in down dog B. Because some of you were doing a double pigeon instead. And some of you, like Monique, you might have to try the second side because you got it now. And we're going to meet in down dog B. I never drink during class, but I need to today. Okay. So in down dog B, let's just bring our ankles to touch. Press the left heel close to the floor, bend the right knee, and start to lift the right leg up high. And we'll stack the right hip, point the toes, and let's just come to the ball of the left foot so the heel is up, and come to the sole of the foot so the heel is down. And just do that a few times, lifting and lowering that left heel. And notice how the weight changes in your arms. And let's lower the right leg and try it on the other side. So I like to start it by bending the left leg just to get that right heel anchored first. And then I extend the left leg up. You do not have to do it that way. Just point your left toes to the ceiling and start to lift and lower that right heel at whatever pace suits you. Try not to let your fingers move. Don't let your elbows slide apart. And we'll lower the left leg down as well. And let's lower both knees to the floor. So we're on forearms and knees, and we'll just do cat-cows from here. It's going to be very awkward and small. Inhale to arch, chin up. Exhale to round. A few more at your pace. And we'll find a neutral back and lower to the forehead. Walk the arms out straight. Either stay there or bring the chin to the floor. Either stay there or bring the chest and armpits to the floor. I'm saying that as an option to you, but I'm not doing it. We're just trying to open the chest. You can feel that your shoulder blades are poking into the back of your heart. Okay, and let's slowly slide forward, and we'll just come onto the belly. And let's prop ourselves up. I'll face you a little bit, diagonal. Let's prop ourselves with that left forearm. The right hand for right now will just be out to the side. And we're just going to play with sinking the chest down and picking it up. And sinking it down and picking it up. Okay, so we're going to pick up the chest, but it's going to be purely the responsibility of that front forearm because our right hand is going to reach back for the inside of the foot. And you'll either keep this arm straight, the right arm straight, or you'll start to pull your foot in from whatever angle suits you. Some of you are going Bakasana grip. That feels good for me at this point in time, but I used to just kind of do whatever grip worked. You're just trying to get your heel by your right hip. However, now you're thinking about your right thigh, you probably forgot about this front forearm. So push down into the left forearm, get your chest up. Throat open. The thigh is not more important than the chest opening or the throat opening. Just in this particular pose, it feels a little more dangerous, more stretchy. So we tend to put all of our focus back there. Push down a little more into your left forearm. And then slowly release, we'll just change sides. So this is really just teaching us the stance for Pincha Mayurasana. So in Pincha, you're not going to really dump yourself down. You're going to be lifted. So let's reach left hand back. Take whatever grip suits you. And if you're not sure if you're lifted or not, just let yourself sink and just see what is that range. And what does it take to lift your chest up? Because when you go into something like Pincha Mayurasana, you do need to know what are you going to do to get your head off the ground, to keep your head off the ground. So while you're here lifting your chest, you could also have an easier time squaring yourself to the top of the mat. If you're collapsed down, it's very hard to balance out right and left. Okay, slowly get out of there. Hands under the shoulders. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing. So your choice, either headstand or Pincha Mayurasana. You can start on your knees and set up your arms. If you're choosing headstand, interlace the fingers, place your head. If you're choosing Pincha, palms flat, forearms parallel to one another. And lift up at your leisure. I'm going to watch. So your base, your foundation is whatever's on the floor. That's going to be pushing down very hard and evenly distributed. So those of you in Pincha, your fingers are super important. They are pressing down to prevent you from touching that wall. Miss Carol, I'm watching you. That was pretty good though. I'm giving you a hard time. Katie can stay there forever. She's in her headstand, super even. Okay. So let's meet again on hands and knees. That looks good, Anouk. Okay. So we're going to pretend we have that forearm behind our back again, like we had earlier in different poses. We're just going to, let's bring our knees all the way together and then extend the right leg back. So have a look-see at your screen. This is what not to do. As soon as we lift the leg, we dip our belly down and then we lower and then we lift. So we're going to try not to do that. So pretend that forearm is there at your low back, or your mid back, I should say, and we're just going to lift the leg a bit, but try not to dip the belly down and then lower the leg again. So go at your pace, whatever that is, but just try to keep the waist lifted as if there's a little belt with helium balloons helping you. And you'll feel your hamstring work quite a lot to get the leg up in this way. And let's just change sides. So right knee comes to center, left leg straight back. And just at your leisure, the slower you go, the easier it will be to control. And just go to the height that works for you so that you feel like you still do have some say in what happens with your back. When I have issues with my back, which is pretty often, various pains, I tend to go a Pilates route. And this has been helping a lot lately. Okay, let's come down to the knee again. Inhale, arch. And downward dog, exhale. Step or jump through, have a seat. Lay back. And we'll find either Setu Bandha Sarvanasana, hips up, shoulders down, or Urdhva Dhanurasana, hands down, arms straight. So we'll stay for 5 breaths. That's already 2. 3, 4, and 5. Come on down. our in-between for Urdhva Dhanurasana people. I just want you to see it and it'll be not so bad. It looks bad, but it's not. So here you are in your Urdhva. You're going to come to the crown of your head and move your hands to across forearms, and then we'll lift up again. So that'll just be the place we go for rest. So let's lift up to back bend for 5 breaths again, whether it's Urdhva Dhanurasana or Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. That's already 2, 3, 4, 5. From Urdhva Dhanurasana, come to the crown of your head. Your legs have to stay super powerful. You're going to even feel it in your glutes as you cross your forearms. And then we'll lift up again, Urdhva Dhanurasana or Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. So the rest is very short and doesn't feel like much of a rest. It's 3, 4, 5. Come on down, one more rest. From Urdhva, we're on the crown of the head, we cross the forearms, and we put the hands down again. Everyone lift up one more time. Hips up a little higher. That's 4 and 5. Now we'll come on down all the way to the back. And let's just lift the right leg up. The left foot can either be sole of the foot on the ground or your leg can be straight out. But press your back into the floor so there's no gap. And just make a little circle on the ceiling. And go the other direction. So this is just helping us scoop our belly in, stabilize. Let's lower the right foot or right leg and lift the left. And draw a little circle. Try not to rock right to left. Go the other way. Okay, knees to the chest. We'll rock and roll, sit up. Or roll to your right and sit up that way, whatever suits you. Vinyasa. Okay, so either Pincha Mayurasana or Dhanurasana. So Dhanurasana starts from the belly. It's the one where we reach for our ankles and we kick. And we open the throat and the chest a lot. So either this or balance on your forearms and practice using your fingers. Either way, in Pincha or in this one from the belly, Dhanurasana, notice how your feet are moving opposite your hips. Dang, Carol, that was so good. Okay, let's all come out of wherever we were, and we'll meet in downward dog. Carol's been nailing her pinches lately. Okay, let me just check in with the clock. What? I thought I had another while. Okay, let's walk our hands back to our feet. And we're going to repeat Padahastasana like we did before. So palms up. Belly in. And as you feel more comfortable, push the balls of your feet down. Lift your butt up a little bit higher. Okay, walk yourself into downward dog again. Come down to hands and knees. Set up for headstand. And we're going to lift with 2 legs at once. If you can't do that. Grab yourself. Here, I'm going to grab this. This is perfect and hilarious. Okay, paper towel roll. So, if I can't lift up with 2 feet, I will put my feet first on the paper towels. And then my butt is higher than normal. So then I can start to work it from here. And then that gets the strength to eventually get all the way up without kicking, without using a wall. I've seen people use their couch. For me, that's a little bit high because then I start to freak out that I'm gonna topple over. But anything between a thin book and giant paper towel. And while you're up there, practice pushing the inner foot into the other inner foot. So that when you get to something more difficult, like pincha or handstand, your legs know how to behave. We're going to take about 5 more breaths. Carol, if possible, push more into your elbows and bring your legs away from the wall. Like 3 more inches. Good. So now you're straight. You probably feel like you're about to fall backwards. Okay. And we'll all meet in child's pose. Go as slow as you can, especially through the bottom 12 inches. Good. Okay, let's rise up. We'll sit on our butts. We'll lay down. Either take a L shape, which would be like a legs up the wall type position, but there's no wall there, or lift yourself to shoulder stand, hands on your back, toes up. And if you've chosen shoulder stand, you're just looking at your feet. You can't look at your screen, you can't look at me. I'm actually going to come out of it because there's no sense in me doing it with you at the moment, since some of you are going to be in it and some of you something else. Okay, those of you in shoulder stand, start to lower your legs to halasana so that eventually your feet will touch the ground over your head. Those of you imitating a legs up the wall L shape, bring your legs to a happy baby, hold the edges of your feet, and pull the knees down. Those of you in halasana, plow pose, start to bend your knees toward your temples. Squeeze in gently. If it's going well, go for your ears. If it's going well, go for your shoulders, possibly the floor. Good. We're going to repeat shoulder stand just straight up and down. So return your hands to your back, lift your legs up, and try to get your hands closer to your shoulder blades than where they were before, so that you're a little bit more vertical and that you actually feel this shoulder pressing down into the floor business. Carol, chin away from the chest a little more, and Lisa, legs back a little more. Yeah. Good. And just bring the knees to the chest, place your palms on the mat, and roll down as slowly as you can. And whenever you get down there, we'll just keep the knees together, drop them over to one side, look over the opposite shoulder. And switch sides. We'll come through center, there's anything else you need before Shavasana, go ahead and do that. And we'll just beat with the legs either extended or up on the couch, or soles of the feet at the edge of the mat with the knees dropping together. Take a few more breaths. Let's start to wiggle fingers and toes. Curl the knees into the chest, roll over to the right. With minimal effort, push up to sitting. Let's bring the left hand on the chest, fingers spread wide, right hand on top. Big inhale. Let's take the hands to prayer with the thumbs between the brows. Fold forward any amount. Namaste.